Hi, my name is Siobhan, and today I'm going to take a deep dive into being a licensed professional counselor, or LPC. I'm going to talk about what an LPC is and what the credentials are in Oklahoma. I'm also going to break down the tasks that an LPC does. After, I'm going to talk about the human factors that it takes to be an LPC, and at the end, I'll list any recommendations to the LPC's environment to make it better. But first, let's look at the day in the life of an LPC.
Welcome back to another episode of Careers That Work. Today, we'll be taking you on a day in the life of a mental health counselor.
I'm Melissa Mecca Gregory, and I'm a licensed professional counselor in Dunmore, Pennsylvania. A licensed professional counselor is a mental health professional who diagnose and treat mental health issues. At MMG Counseling, we have 8 therapists total, and they all specialize in something different, which is great. We treat a variety of mental health issues, from anxiety disorders, mood disorders, eating disorders, addiction issues. Counselors tend to take the whole human experience into consideration for treatment purposes. We want to see our clients thrive, so we are often cheerleaders for them as well. Somebody that's interested in getting into this field, really important to possess 3 of these qualities: unconditional positive regard towards your client, accurate empathy, and genuineness, being real with them. Hearing somebody and actively listening to them is so powerful. So you want to be able to connect with them and be authentic. The client and the therapist work together to come up with the best plan forward. What might work for one client might not work for somebody else. I went for my undergraduate at Wilkes University. I studied psychology. I loved it there. It was so much fun. From there, I applied to get into graduate school, and I entered into the Master of Science program at the University of Scranton. If you're interested in pursuing a counseling degree, you want to look for a graduate program that is CACREP, because it's going to enable you to become licensed. Without the license, you won't be able to bill insurance companies. And from start to finish, from undergrad to becoming licensed, it was about a 9-year process. Once I got my license in 2009, I got into private practice. There's a lot of flexibility if you want to be in private practice. It is recommended that every counselor be very self-aware and do work on themselves. Very important to know our blind spots so that we don't bring it into the therapy room. When I was 5 months pregnant with my first child, I very suddenly lost my father to a brain aneurysm. He was very young. He was only 56 years old. Huge trauma in our family, such a loss. He was my best friend. Becoming a mother and then losing a father at the same time was a lot. The treatment approach that my therapist used with me was something called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's an evidence-based, trauma-informed therapy. I did find healing through using EMDR, and because of that experience, I thought it was essential that I bring it to my own clients. Now take a breath and let it go. And what's coming up for you now? From a very young age, I was in elementary school, I'd be on the playground and kids would just come up to me and talk to me if they had a problem. And we talked about it, we came up with solutions, and it always felt so amazing to be able to help somebody. Yeah, I knew from a very young age I had this calling to be a therapist.
So, what'd you think? If you're interested in learning more information, be sure to check out more of our career highlight videos or follow us on social media at Careers That Work.
To get a closer look at what an LPC does, I interviewed with a local LPC here in Oklahoma. This person chose to remain anonymous, so I'll talk about the questions we went over. I asked this person how they would describe what an LPC is and what are the specific tasks and duties of an LPC are. I also asked what a typical week looked like for this LPC and what the credentials are to become one here in Oklahoma. Lastly, I asked what the work context or environment is for being an LPC. As part of our interview, we went over what counseling psychology is as a whole. Counseling psychology is a generalist health service specialty in professional psychology that uses a broad range of culturally informed and culturally sensitive practices to help people improve their well-being, prevent and alleviate distress and maladjustment, resolve crises, and increase the ability to function better in life. To become an LPC in the state of Oklahoma, you must complete a master's degree that is CACREP certified by the Board of Behavioral Health Licensure. You must then complete 3 years of supervision, or about 3,000 hours, under an LPC and pass the NCE and OLERE exam. In the next part of our interview, we broke down the task it takes to be an LPC. First was conduct assessments of patients' risks for harm to self or others. Next was document patient information, including session notes, progress notes, recommendations, and treatment plans. Then we went over providing evidence-based counseling psychotherapy for issues such as depression, anxiety, trauma, grief, substance abuse, and relationship challenges. Lastly, we went over referring clients to psychiatrists, social workers, or other support specialists when additional support is required. Towards the end of the interview, we went over the environment of an LPC. Sessions can be held indoors in an office environment or field-based, which can be at any number of community settings. Sessions can also be done face-to-face or through telehealth. There is regular client contact and occasional contact with colleagues, again, based on the clinician's specific workplace. As for this LPC, we went over their physical ergonomics. This LPC works in an office setting. They are mostly sitting down, either at a desk when working on notes or conducting telehealth, for example. When sitting at a desk, there are repetitive motions when typing up notes. In office settings, posture becomes an issue as slouching occurs when working for long periods of time. As for cognitive demands of this LPC, there are active listening and effective communication, critical thinking and problem solving, decision making, sustained attention, and memory load, just to name a few. As for this specific LPC's environment, they work in an office and choose soft lighting. The walls are thinner, you can hear voices, but you cannot hear what they are saying through the walls. The furniture in this person's office is one couch, one armchair, one bookshelf, one desk, and one desk chair. The temperature is warm, and on sunny and hot days, it can be a little uncomfortable. Recommendations for this LPC would be that since most of the day involves sitting down, make sure to stand up in between sessions for a few minutes. This also helps with posture when sitting down at a desk for long periods of time. There are many cognitive demands of being an LPC. Making sure to schedule breaks that are longer than 10 minutes in between sessions is crucial to give your brain time to process. In this LPC's office, finding a way to make the walls more soundproof so as not to create a HIPAA violation is crucial. They can do this by adding soundproofing padding to their walls as long as it's not distracting to the client or the LPC. Temperature in this LPC's office on hot days can be uncomfortable, so either investing in a fan or having access to the building's temperature controls to cool the office down is key so that the client and the LPC can focus on the work ahead. Thanks for listening to what it means to be an LPC, and a special thank you to the LPC who I interviewed who helped make this video possible.